Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we talk about problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with a video. My mom is very young, 43, and attractive. She had me when she was 19. My dad was a total loser, and thank God my mom never married him or anything. I saw him a couple of times when I was a kid, but then he moved across the country and we lost touch. No biggie. For a while, it was only Mom and I and my grandparents who were always there for us. My mom and I had a great relationship, but now I feel like it's all in the past. A few years back, unfortunately, my grandparents died. First, it was my grandma who lost her battle against cancer, and then Pops followed her. I think he just missed her so much. They were old, as my mom was the youngest of their children. Still, it was a big blow for her. It's not like she needed them financially speaking. My mom's always had great jobs and has been able to make a path for herself. I guess it dawned on her how lonely her life actually was. With me growing up and not needing her as much as I did when I was a baby, she found herself longing for a relationship. All of her friends are married or have a boyfriend or something. Time passed by and I figured it was just a phase. Not that I didn't want her to date or anything. Actually, I tried to set her up once with my boyfriend's friend's uncle, but she flatly refused at that time and I let it go. Out of the blue, last year, she announced that she had a boyfriend. I couldn't believe it. First, because it felt odd, she'd keep that big of a secret from me. We swore to tell each other everything. And second, because I had only seen my mom as a single woman so far. Of course I wanted to meet this mysterious man, but to my surprise, she said she wanted to hold on for a few weeks more because, in her words, she didn't want me to meet someone if the relationship wasn't going anywhere. Again, it was odd for me, but with better plans in my hands than meeting some old guy who could or could not be a nice dude, I didn't press on the matter. You wouldn't believe it, but it took months for me to meet him. There was always some excuse. Finally, one day, he came to my house for dinner. I was getting ready and Mom entered my room and said something really strange and bizarre. Something like why I was getting all dressed up if he was going to see her, not me. I thought she was high. The guy came to the house and, oh, surprise! He wasn't some old guy like I pictured, but a guy at least 10 years younger than my mom. He was okay during dinner, asking questions about school and remembering about high school adventures. He asked about my college plans, and I think my mom felt a little left out of the conversation because she didn't go to college because she got pregnant when she was 19. I could see her embarrassment and annoyance, and wanting to ease things up, I said I was sleepy and I wanted to go to bed. As I said goodbye, I listened through the door and they began to argue. He said how rude it was for me to leave the table 45 minutes after he arrived. My mom said that I was tired and she wasn't going to force me to stay and make conversation with him. He said that she had no authority over me or something crazy like that. All I wanted was to get out of an awkward situation. I seriously couldn't tell if my mom was angry at him for wanting me to stay or if she was jealous, which I found gross. A couple of months went by. They continued their relationship and I barely saw him. Just said hello, goodbye, and that sort of stuff. Fast forward a couple of months, and my mom announces to me that she is getting married. She said, with Grandma and Pops gone, and her not being young or anything, she didn't want to make a big deal. Just go to City Hall, me, her older sister, her and her boyfriend, and then go out to have some dinner together at a fancy restaurant. A year ago, my mom and I spent a lot of time together. Now, I was standing at City Hall watching her get married to this guy I barely knew. She looked happy, and I felt sorry for her, like she felt she'd been missing all of that, partly because of my existence. After dinner, she came to me and said that she was truly happy for the first time in years. She said she was so proud of me, what a good girl I was, and that she thought that she would be forever alone once I left for college in a couple of years. We had a beautiful moment, just the two of us. Then, she said thanks to her new husband, she didn't have to feel like that at all. She said she was determined to have a happy marriage and make him happy in any way she could. She then had the weirdest of requests. She said, "Sheila, we're not actually going away on a honeymoon, as you know, but I want to feel like we are newlyweds. Can I ask you a favor, and can you sleep at Maddie's tonight?" Maddie is my best friend. Understanding that she wanted some kind of privacy or some of the magic of a honeymoon, I said okay. What I thought was a once-in-a-lifetime request became my whole existence. Ever since they got married, my mom has not allowed me to sleep under the same roof as him. The only times I was allowed to sleep in my own house were when he's out of town because of his work. He has some kind of sales position that requires him to travel. Seldom do I ever see him, and every time our paths cross, my mom is always telling me to cover myself or to speak to him as little as possible. Maddie, my best friend, has been cool enough to let me crash at her place as long as I need to. But she says that either the guy has a crush on me or my mom has completely lost it. So one day, I was really tired from school. I wanted to take a bath and go to bed, but my mom came in a hurry. She said her husband was returning early from his trip, and if I could please stay at Maddie's again. She said that this was going to be the last time, she promised. She said she had something important to discuss with him. I couldn't take it. We started arguing, and at one point I called her crazy and delusional. Things I never saw myself telling her. She said I was too ungrateful after all that she had sacrificed for me. I couldn't stand that she was actually happy doing something with someone other than me. She practically kicked me out of the house. I stormed out and went to Maddie's. Guess what I did? We called Child Protection Services on them. You guys, filing a complaint is harder than it sounds. Turns out calling CPS is dead serious. But so was I. I wanted to actually understand my rights as a minor, and if my mom was truly being abusive, or I was just mad at her and imagining things. My complaint was 100% legitimate, and my mom got scared as hell. Not as angry as I would have assumed. The battle was long and tedious, with lots of questioning and calling witnesses. I won't say it wasn't embarrassing, but I was relieved to know that my friends and family members also thought the relationship was plain weird between my mom and her husband. Since I didn't want to live with him anyways, and I was months away from my 18th birthday, my mom had to arrange for me to live in an apartment while I go away from college. It is so weird, but I'm happy and peaceful at last. My mom is still with her husband, and we barely speak once a month. I'm in college. Guess what? The weird guy dumped my mom for a younger, much younger, woman. My mom has slowly tried to rebuild our relationship. I can't say it's all in the past, and we are trying to mend our bond. As for what was really the guy's intention towards me, I guess we'll never know, nor do I want to know. NTA, oh my God, sounds like the guy's a real pervert. Who knows what would have happened to you if you hadn't acted on time? NTA, you were too patient and understanding. You sound very mature for your age. I applaud you for taking such a brave decision. NAH, of course I feel bad for you, but I also feel bad for your mom. She was clearly obfuscated by this manipulative guy. I hope you two can work things out. My mom, 48, is married to her husband, 50. I kind of grew up with him around, and he sort of saw me as his daughter, but it wasn't mutual. I'm very clear with him and that he's not my father, never will be. My bio dad passed away in January of 2021. My parents divorced when I was 1 year old. I used to live with him, but when he passed away, I moved with my mom. Yesterday, we went to church, mom, husband, and I. After church, we went out to eat. After eating, my mom said that she had to return some chair covers she had borrowed. On the way to the ladies' house, I started talking about how one of my friends is going to be homeschooled next school year. I was telling my mom my thoughts on it. My mom said I might see things differently than her because she was raised with both her parents together, and she's used to them always agreeing on decisions of her life. I, on the other hand, didn't. I grew up with my parents separated, and they both had their own beliefs, religiously and about discipline. While my mom was talking about me, her husband butted in and interrupted her. He started going on about how my dad was an a-hole and a terrible person. He said my dad didn't care about me or my sister and said that he just had us for money and to spite my mom. I told him to stop talking about my dad, and he continued. I gradually got louder, shouting at him to stop saying these terrible things about my dead father. He paused, and I paused, and then he had the audacity to tell me that I wasn't allowed to talk about my dad in the house. I immediately started yelling again, talking about how I'm going to talk about my dad whenever I damn want to. My mom was silent, didn't say a word. She didn't say anything to either of us. When my mom got out of the car to return the chair covers, her husband looked at me in the back seat and told me, "Don't ever speak about your dad in my presence or in my house again." I immediately went off again, going on about how I'm going to talk about my dad when I want to. He has no say over when or how I grieve my dad. He then raised his voice at me and started saying a lot of bad things about my dad. I blurted out and yelled, "Stop!" at the top of my lungs. He was still trying to yell over me, saying terrible things about my dad, so I grabbed my bag and I stormed out of the car and I started walking. I only walked a block before they found me and dragged me to the car. The ride home was silent. When we got home, I went straight to my room and didn't talk to them for the rest of the day. This morning, I told my mom I'm going to ignore him until he apologized. She said I should be the bigger person and do it myself. I shouldn't be the one to apologize because when I talk about my dad, it's to grieve him. I miss my dad so much, and I don't think I'm ever going to not miss him. Him talking bad about my dad made me upset because I don't want to hear those bad things about him. My last memory of my dad is a good one, and I don't want it to be ruined, especially by him. Am I the a-hole? NTA, I wonder where your stepfather obtained his theories on your dad. The easy answer is your mom, who is suspiciously silent. I'm sorry you're going through this. I don't know how much time you have left in their household. Do your best to stay focused on the best things in your life and ignore all of the drama your mom and stepfather are creating. Since you're 15, this is a pretty age-appropriate reaction. You should learn from this, though. Yelling at someone doesn't make them see your perspective or stop their bad behavior. Because the man your mother married is a total a-hole, he'll probably do this again. When he does, do you want to repeat this experience? Or do you want to correct him, walk away, and try to enjoy the rest of your night? Oh, and you definitely don't owe him an apology. Oh my God, NTA, your mother should have said something. Asking you to apologize to be the bigger person is ridiculous. Anyone with any sense knows that you don't insult someone's family member, especially after you've lost them. Your stepfather is an AH. Your mother, by not saying anything, was supporting him. When you asked your stepfather to stop and he continued, he was double the AH. I know about losing your dad. It's really painful. That said, you have your memories of your dad and no one can take them away from you. I also had the experience of having my dad come back years after he died. I didn't believe in this sort of thing, and after it happened, I didn't tell anyone for years, but it was incredible. I'm not really sure how it works, but sometime when you think of him, you'll get a feeling or a sense of something, and just for a second, he'll be there. In the meantime, ignore your stepfather forever. Me, 26-year-old male, and my fiancé, 25-year-old female, had our engagement party at the start of 2021. My fiancé's best friend, A, of 15 years, was invited and brought her boyfriend, B, with her. For context, both my fiancé and I are Asian, and A and B are Western. During the party, B had a couple of drinks and publicly made a racist comment about me to my brother. B did not know that he was my brother, and they got into a pretty heated argument that disrupted the whole party's mood and atmosphere. A apologized on behalf of B, and they both left the party early. After the party, my fiancé and I had a serious discussion and mutually agreed to not invite B to our wedding based on the racist remarks that he made, and also because A will be at the bridal party and not be present to hold B in check. Like every Asian family, we also have a lot of relatives coming to our wedding, and I'm worried B will say something offensive to them. Respect is a huge deal in our culture. Prior to this, my fiancé and I had already decided to not allow plus ones if we didn't know them. This is unfortunately due to COVID-19 numbers and financial reasons. I'm also a believer in creating a comfortable wedding atmosphere. I want the day to be as stress-free as possible for my fiancé, as she deserves to have the best day of her life after working so hard on all the planning. Fast forward a couple of months. B proposes to A, and she says yes. A meets up with my fiancé and asks her to be at her bridal party. My fiancé accepts, but not before telling A that B will not be invited to our wedding due to the above reasons. A becomes a little defensive and argues that B is always saying these things as a joke, and that he thinks it's okay because he has Asian friends. A then tells my fiancé that she will ask B to apologize to me formally. Another few months pass. B messages me and asks to catch up for a beer. I don't drink. I was in the middle of a busy season for work and told B that I'm happy to meet, but to reschedule. B doesn't reply, and then it slips my mind to follow up due to work, preparing for our wedding in November, etc. Last week, A sent us a handwritten letter to our mailbox telling us that she will be pulling out of my fiancé's bridal party and kicking my fiancé out of hers. A explains that she will not feel happy celebrating our wedding without B being there and believes that our wedding should be celebrated with couples being together. My fiancé is now freaking out and pushing me to meet with A and B and also to apologize to B for not rescheduling a catch-up for him to apologize to me. AITA for being busy and not organizing a time for B to apologize to me for his actions? Should I apologize? Hang on. Your fiancé wants you to apologize to the racist for not chasing him so he could apologize? I have Asian friends. It was only a joke. That's messed up on a number of levels. The burden of organizing his apology falls entirely on B, not you. You are the aggrieved party here. In any case, it sounds like you told B to reschedule and he didn't reply. If anything, you did more than was necessary. More than I would have done. NTA, is it a big deal if they don't come? He is a racist. Not sure what she is. Don't want to know, TPH. NTA, he needs to apologize to you, not the other way around. So he needs to find a time to fit within your schedule if he genuinely wants to apologize. Also, his apology is not going to mean a damn thing because it's clear that his fiancé is making him do it. I know it's going to hurt your fiancé's feelings to not have her friend there, but it sounds like you're frankly better off without these people in your life. And now they're overshadowing your happy day with this nonsense?